Picture this. You're standing in a room when someone suddenly mocks you, questions your abilities, or deliberately tries to embarrass you in front of everyone. In an instant, your heartbeat quickens, your jaw tightens. Thoughts race through your mind, urging you to answer with equal force. For most people, this reaction feels almost impossible to stop. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if another person's words could no longer shake your confidence? What if criticism, disrespect, and even open hostility lost the power to control your emotions? Imagine reaching a point where your peace remains untouched, no matter what happens around you. That level of emotional freedom isn't wishful thinking. It is a skill that can be developed. More than 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers discovered practical methods for remaining calm in situations that would overwhelm most people. They understood something that many people still overlook today. Anger is rarely created by what happens to us. It is created by the meaning we assign to what happens. That single realization changes everything. The moment you recognize that your interpretation, not the insult itself, is what fuels your emotions, you begin to reclaim control over your inner world. The power shifts away from the person trying to provoke you and returns to where it has always belonged, within yourself. In this video, you'll discover timeless Stoic principles that can help you build a mind that stays steady under pressure. Whether you're dealing with toxic co-workers, difficult relatives, disrespectful strangers, or anyone who seems determined to test your patience, these lessons can become a lasting foundation for emotional resilience. The greatest Stoic thinkers devoted their lives to mastering this inner discipline. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire while facing endless criticism and uncertainty. Seneca carefully studied the destructive nature of anger and warned how easily it can rob us of clear judgment. Epictetus, despite beginning life as a slave, taught that genuine freedom comes from controlling your own mind rather than trying to control other people. Their circumstances were vastly different, yet they all arrived at the same conclusion. No one can truly disturb your peace unless you hand them the keys. The principles you're about to learn have endured for centuries because they continue to work. And once you begin applying them consistently, you'll notice something remarkable. Situations that once triggered frustration will slowly lose their grip, allowing you to respond with confidence instead of impulse. Attitude 1. Change the meaning you give to insults. The first step toward becoming someone who is no longer ruled by anger is surprisingly simple. Stop believing that every insult deserves your attention. Most people think another person's words are what cause emotional pain. The Stoics saw it differently. They believed that words by themselves are powerless. What truly hurts is the meaning we attach to them. Imagine two people hearing the exact same criticism. One becomes furious and carries the resentment for days. The other shrugs it off and continues with complete peace of mind. The words were identical, yet the outcomes were completely different. Why? Because each person interpreted them differently. This is where emotional freedom begins. Seneca often pointed out that our minds have a habit of magnifying events far beyond what they actually are. We replay conversations, imagine hidden motives, and create stories that make small moments feel much larger than reality. Before long, we're not reacting to what happened. We're reacting to the version we've built in our own minds. The next time someone speaks to you with disrespect, pause before answering. Instead of asking, "How could they say that to me?" ask yourself a different question. What does this reveal about them? People who are at peace rarely feel the need to insult others. Those who constantly attack, mock, or belittle often carry frustration, insecurity, or unresolved pain within themselves. Their behavior is usually a reflection of their inner struggles, not an accurate description of your worth. When you understand this, something remarkable happens. The insult begins to lose its emotional weight. Instead of seeing it as an attack on your identity, you recognize it as information about the other person's state of mind. Their words no longer define you. They simply reveal where they are emotionally. This doesn't mean you agree with disrespect or allow others to mistreat you. It simply means you refuse to let their emotions become your emotions. Think of criticism like mud thrown at a solid wall. If the wall remains firm, the mud slides off without changing its foundation. In the same way, a mind grounded in self-awareness doesn't absorb every negative opinion that comes its way. Practice creating a brief moment of silence before reacting. Even one deep breath can interrupt the automatic cycle of anger. In that small pause, remind yourself, I choose how I respond. Their behavior belongs to them. My peace belongs to me. That single decision may seem small, but it changes everything. The impulse to fight back weakens. Your judgment becomes clearer. Instead of becoming a prisoner of emotion, you become the one directing it. This is the first lesson of Stoicism. When you change the meaning you give to an insult, you also change its power over your life. And once words no longer control your emotions, you've already won the battle before it truly begins. Attitude 2. Focus only on what you can control. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoicism is also one of the easiest to forget. Not everything deserves your energy. Much of our frustration comes from fighting battles we were never meant to win. We try to control people's opinions, their behavior, their attitudes, and the way they treat us. But no matter how hard we try, those things remain outside our hands. Epictetus built his philosophy around a simple distinction. Some things are ours to direct and some are not. Wisdom begins when we learn the difference. You cannot decide what another person will say. You cannot prevent every act of disrespect. You cannot force others to understand you, appreciate you, or treat you fairly. What you can control is far more valuable. You control the thoughts you choose to entertain. You control the tone of your voice, the actions you take, and the principles you refuse to compromise. Most importantly, you control whether someone else's negativity becomes part of your inner world. Think about how often an entire day is ruined by a single careless comment. One unpleasant interaction can linger in the mind for hours, sometimes even days. The person who offended you may have already forgotten the moment, yet you're still carrying its weight. This is exactly what the Stoics warned against. Every minute spent wishing someone had behaved differently is a minute spent surrendering your own peace. The more you chase what lies beyond your control, the more exhausted and frustrated you become. The next time someone tries to provoke you, stop for a moment and quietly ask yourself, is this something I actually have the power to change? If the answer is no, don't waste your strength wrestling with it. Let it pass like a cloud moving across the sky. Clouds appear, drift by, and disappear without changing the mountain beneath them. Your mind can become just as steady. This doesn't mean accepting injustice or refusing to stand up for yourself when necessary. There are times when calm action is appropriate, but there is a world of difference between responding with purpose and reacting out of anger. A calm response comes from strength. An angry reaction comes from losing control. When you stop demanding that the world behave according to your expectations, something unexpected happens. Life feels lighter. You no longer carry the impossible burden of trying to manage everyone around you. Instead, your attention returns to the one place where real change is always possible, your own character. That is where true freedom begins. No insult, criticism, or act of disrespect can take away your peace unless you willingly hand it over. The moment you understand this, you stop chasing control over other people and start mastering yourself. And in the end, that is the only victory that truly lasts.